Hello. I haven't done a stream in a little while, have I? It's been it's been busy, to be honest. Been really busy. Um anyways, um there's been a lot of good imagery recently, a lot of clear weather. And I haven't had time to look at it so much. And I've wanted to. Um s- and I don't have time to do it today either. But I never have time, so I figured we might as well do it today. Otherwise, I'll just end up doing it never. So anyways, Um, I'm just going to go around this image. We have one image from the 2nd and one image from the 7th. So these are going to be 5 days apart, which is kind of nice. Um, 5 days has enough time to see some solid differences. So let's start. Just gonna do the old flipperoo between the 2 days to see if we see anything. And we can chat about what we see because I think we're going to find some interesting stuff, to be honest. Um, so let's see. I don't see much so far. I wasn't expecting you wouldn't really expect to see too much around here. See now Rabatana. Uh, Probably a lot going on here. So recently, there's been videos coming out of shelling along this forest strip. But I think those videos are mostly a few weeks old, even though they've been released recently. But you do see shelling in the exact places where those videos were depicting it, which is roughly halfway between these two perpendicular tree lines. So right around here, and you can see some shelling. It's hard to see, but it is there. You see it right in the middle. I put it right in the middle of the screen. You can see it flipping back and forth. You see that there's more shelling, and you see like this little white dot right here is artillery shell. So yeah. Uh, anyways, we can keep on going. Oh boy, that's a lot of shelling right here, isn't there? So this would be man, I don't even know what this is anymore. I would have said this is the last main or like a logistics corridor into or logistics area into Rabatana. Rabatana is basically abandoned, so I'm not 100% sure what this would be, what this represents, to be honest. But you see, there's a lot of MRL shelling, a lot of MRL. So we're gonna mark this as MRL shelling. Hooray! We found a green eyeball. So uh, let's type in the coordinates and try not to mess them up as we type, because that would be a waste of time. And then we ought to take a screenshot, right? Take the old screenshot, save that as our first green eyeball. There we go. One down. We did it. Where else? Where else are there green eyeballs? Now, if you don't know, on the map that we make, a green eyeball is just it represents reconnaissance of some sort. Um, there's drones, there's satellites. Sometimes there's just people walking around. You know, so we try to get our reconnaissance where we can. In this case, it's a satellite. So these are. I wonder if there's anything interesting going on the Russian side of things. Probably not, because Ukraine doesn't have ammo. Oh, okay. Okay, let's keep on moving up. Moving on up to see if we can like find a front line. We don't actually know where the front line is anymore, to be honest. Or at least where the attacking is. You do see some kind of light shelling here. I don't think it's green eyeball worthy. It could also I don't know. There's browning. You see browning. So especially like right there. Where I don't know. Maybe it's just been dry for a few days. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's dryness and not artillery killing everything, all the grass. Anyways, moving on. So, anyways, how are you guys doing? I hope you're all doing okay. Been a been a stressful few weeks, you know? It's been a lot of Russian advances in areas that we knew that they would advance in, areas that we had been talking about them. Um, we did streams before of look at that. There's a lot of shelling right here. This is for sure lots of shelling. Um, it's another green eyeball. So we talked in prior streams about how Ultratine was the biggest threat for Ukraine. We talked about how Ukraine didn't have obvious lines of defense behind the town. So those are all prior streams that we had, and I think that all bore out to be more or less true. Unfortunately, but it was predictable. Um, like I accidentally highlighted like my entire screen. Okay, unhighlight, unhighlight you monster. Okay, sorry. Yeah, a lot of people people have been taking this badly. I've seen a lot of like people are getting like depressed and giving up. Um, no time to get depressed and give up. These are all problems that we saw coming and should have been prepared for. But you know why the people didn't prepare is because everyone had their emotions. They had their emotions, and what were the emotions back then when they could have prepared? The emotions were, oh, we're gonna go to Crimea. We're gonna break through the whole front line and push all the way to Crimea, and we're gonna win in an afternoon. The Russians don't stand a chance. Everything's gonna collapse, etc. Those emotions are why, in large part, not in totality, but in large part, those emotions are why Ukraine never prepared for what's going on now. And now people are, well, oh, everything, the sky is falling, everything's awful, and that sort of emotional response will stop you from doing what needs to be done to prepare for the future. You have to always be preparing. You can't stop preparing just to have an emotional breakdown every once in a while. Hello. Hello, everybody. Um, the people who join and help us look for green eyeballs. You are our moral support in our search for green eyeballs. See this whole area. Um, Nothing really happens here. This is like the quietest area. Like more stuff happens on like the Chernihiv border than around here apparently. There's like rarely shelling. I don't see anything. What about you? This is like the front line right here. There's like nothing going on. I can't see any obvious anything. Like it seems that this area, which is it's not no oh, sorry. That was a mistake. It's not nowhere, it's near Ulipole, and behind this big rectangle is a archive. So this is like, it's like right there. It's not like hiding in the rear or something, but there's still just nothing going on apparently. There's debate on who exactly controls what. There was some rumor that Ukraine had captured Myrna, and there's also rumor that Russia captured it. And to be honest, I think kind of neither are true. I think just nothing happened, to be honest. Or at least I don't see any evidence of anything. We don't get any videos from here. There's no signs of artillery fire, except for right here. Although I never know what this means. What is this? The browns, the browning. I think that's just nature, some form of nature going on, something natural and not artillery related. So yeah, this whole area is kind of a dead zone. So I did kind of start the stream in probably the most boring place, but it will be fine because we're gonna end in the most interesting place, and that's something we can all look forward to. Good morning, everybody. Well, for the people who it is the morning. I personally woke up about 8 hours. I woke up like 8 hours ago, so to me, it's like the afternoon. Yeah, burnt field. I don't. It might be a burnt field. You could see that it's textured. The texture is what's curious to me. I don't know. I see that texture all the time on fields, and I'm not sure what it means. Maybe it's like like those mole people from like they're in like Fallout, right? Like the mole people. Maybe the mole people live there, and they just kind of dig their little mole men trenches. Maybe that's it. Oh, yeah, this area is just nothing. I'm just gonna move on to somewhere more interesting. Here, there's occasionally something interesting in this general area, so we'll check. We'll check. Not this time. Okay, let's keep going. Malinivka is this town gets hit by drones all the time. In fact, it gets hit by MRL very often, but I don't actually know where the MRLs hit. I don't actually know where the MRLs. I think it's just literally in the town, because there's no obvious signs of it around the town. 5:56 in Arizona. That makes sense. It's 8:56 where I am. Okay. Is there? I still don't know where the actual front line is right here, because just nothing happens here. So there's never like artillery. There's still nothing. Okay. So okay. So here's another area that I'm really curious about, and there's no obvious signs of change here either. Fantastic. Okay. So the Pryutny area. Let's see. There's been a lot of major battles here recently. Russia's gone on several large assaults, and we don't really see evidence of that. But we know it happens. But we don't see obvious evidence on this resolution anyway. Maybe on a lower resolution you could see something, but on this particular resolution, not so much. You just kind of see browning. So there's a little fire right there. Yep. No. Oh, well, there is this. There is this, isn't there? There's I don't know. That might just be pixels. Yeah, I'm back. Sort of. Yeah, just to tell you the sorts of days I've had recently. I'll tell you what I did yesterday. Okay. Well, it was yesterday. All of this was yesterday to me, but you'll see what I mean. So what day is it? Today is the 8th. So on the 6th, okay, I'll go back to Sunday. On Sunday, I woke up on Sunday around 9 a.m., I think, around 9 a.m. And I worked on Sunday from, well, work is a strong term. My problem is I didn't really work on Sunday. So on Sunday, I woke up around 9 a.m. and I went until, I don't know, like 8 a.m. So from 9 a.m. to 8 a.m. was, quote, working. Although the first like 12 hours I couldn't work because I was just mentally drained. So then I went to sleep at 10, and I woke up around 5 p.m. Then I worked from 5 p.m. on Monday. So on the 6th, I worked from 5 p.m. on Monday until 9 p.m. last night. And then I went, no, until 6 p.m. last night. So I worked from 5 to 6. 5 p.m. on Monday to 6 p.m. on Tuesday straight. And then I slept from 6 p.m. until like 12:30. And I've been awake ever since. So that's been my work schedule. I've been doing a lot of like 25, 26, 28 hours straight. It's it gets pretty exhausting. And that's why I haven't been streaming so much. Okay, so I'm kind of disappointed I don't really see much right here. Moving on. Uh, okay. Oh, don't really see much here either. You'll notice that there's been a suspicious lack of artillery. Have you noticed that? Remember last year when I was doing these green eyeballs all the time? I could find green eyeballs like all over the place, like everywhere, like literally everywhere there's green eyeballs. But now we found two so far. Two. We've looked at a pretty big part of the front line. Several of these areas have had battles, like, and there's still not much going on, honestly. Like, this is something that I find interesting. I think you might find it interesting that there's not as much obvious signs of artillery as there used to be. See, this area definitely has signs of artillery. So there's right here. This is okay. This is a lot going on here. I'm not really a lot of deforestation. This is this would be Ukrainian shelling. Ukrainian. Okay, so there's that. And then there's up here a little bit, right? Like this whole area, this whole thing. I never took a screenshot. I should take a screenshot. Yeah. Take a screenshot. Let's zoom out. Okay. Yeah. Sat 3. Okay. So so yeah, this is this whole area is even this has been a major battle too. So the Prutny area was a large battle. This is a pretty significant battle, and even here we're not seeing super large amounts of artillery, which is interesting. We're seeing some, for sure. We're seeing some. I don't even know how to map this, to be honest. Yeah. So I don't know. I'll just make a bunch of. I'm just gonna make 3 green eyeballs, I guess. Let's go for 3. 3 is better than 1, I guess. I don't know. Should I make 3? This is a matter of subjectivity. You tell me, how many green eyeballs should I make? I'm definitely gonna make 1 here because this is interesting. This is probably the heaviest shelling of this whole area. It's right here. So we're gonna put a green eyeball right there. We see MRL. We see lots of artillery shelling. So you might be wondering, why do we have green eyeballs? And the reason is that when we gather the green eyeballs, they very often tell us where to look in in future geolocation efforts. So typically, you can see the green eyeballs on the satellite view prior to the videos coming out. So when the videos come out, we can say, well, this tree line looks a little familiar. And then you could look and say, oh, well, this is the green eyeball. And it's useful. Also, it just kind of tells us more of a big picture, because this is a very low resolution satellite, you know. It tells us more of a big picture what is going on here. Um, what's exploding? Like right here is exploding pretty significantly. We actually know that because we get these the videos of this area. This has been getting hit by maybe. I just had an idea. Maybe these messed up areas. Maybe these messed up areas. Maybe these are cluster munitions. Do you think that's what cluster munitions look like after they blow up a field? Yeah. First stream in a few weeks. You're right. You're right. It's been a while. Now we're looking for green eyeballs. Maybe because I'm pretty sure there's been cluster munitions right here, and you can kind of see it. Look, like you can see kind of maybe this is what cluster munitions just look like. There's going to be a few more cluster munitions. See, these are bomb impacts. In fact, I kind of recognize this pattern of bombs. I think I geolocated this video. Yeah, there's like a bombs right there. I think I geolocated that one. So yeah, these bombs are they're coming for you. There's they've been shooting a lot of them recently, all over the place. These cluster munitions. Yeah, and you can see it right here too, right here, and this is a bomb. Yeah, I think I'm gonna call that all one green eyeball though. Incendiaries, maybe. I think it's hard to set grass on fire, personally. I think it's non-trivial to set grass on fire because it's, I mean, growing grass. Not like obviously when the grass dries out, that's a different story. But this is like healthy growing grass. We're gonna call this a green eyeball. This is an airstrike. It's always interesting to know where the airstrikes are on the satellite view because we don't always get the video. Often we do though, because they do actually publish a lot of airstrikes. Man, this area has been getting. I think I'm sorry. Like I think these are cluster munitions. To be honest, I kind of think that's what these are. Because the cluster munitions, I'm not. I don't actually know if this is true, but maybe they are more likely to create fire. There's lots of little explosions as opposed to one giant one. One giant explosion, I suspect, isn't good at making a fire because it creates so much like wind. Whereas little tiny explosions, maybe those are more fire starters because they wouldn't blow out its own fire. You know what I mean? So we can keep on going. Um, yeah, we already marked that one. Uh, over here. I don't really see anything there. There's some of these like scorch marks. I'm not so interested in mapping a scorch mark. More looking for artillery. Uh, and airstrikes, things like that. More show active combat. Yeah. So let's keep on going. Eventually, we're gonna get to where the most active combat's going on. This area is all kind of lower intensity. Although Russia has been attacking more here, but even still, it's lower intensity. Um, Getting towards Pavlivka. Um, this is all lower, not super interesting, at least from this view. There are some interesting things going on roughly right there, but you can't see it at this resolution, so we could just keep on going. Scorch marks. Ooh, that's a lot. Take a screenshot. What number are we up to? 6. Now we're up to 7. Okay. Okay, so that's another green eyeball. This is a MRL shelling of some sort. If I were to guess, I would guess toss. But I'm not sure. All right. So how's everybody doing? You guys can talk in the chat more if you'd like to. You can ask questions if you'd like, if you're interested. Or we can just look for green eyeballs together. Oh, that reminds me. Oh, I got a text message. I wonder who that's from. Maybe it's Santa Claus. Let's see. It was Santa Claus. Okay. Oh, here's another one. This is okay. So this is getting more and more interesting because we're getting more and more into the active front line. So, um, Russia's been doing some. Wow, there's a lot going on right here. There's a lot. This is very interesting. We don't really get so many videos from here, but this is a lot going on. Now, you compare and contrast this to all those areas we just looked at where nothing really was happening. And here, there's massive amounts of shelling. Massive. So we have this area right here, which is getting hit by MRL, by airstrikes, by all sorts of things. And then we have like right here is getting hit too, right? Right here is getting hit. So this is more. This is like artillery. It's not as intense, but it's still obvious to see. You can see it like So this is 9. So I have to make another. They can I have to get some. Gotta get the coordinates. I wish there was a way to just like click a button to get the coordinates. So I didn't have to focus and type them and hope I don't make typos. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so yeah, then there's here too. This is getting hit pretty hard. So this looks like this is the artillery. I see some airstrikes in there too. So this is all very active combat. We're in an area where we're not getting video, really. Not getting video. We got like we got like 2 videos, but nothing super major. But obviously there's a lot of really intense combat going on, and here too. And keep in mind, these are 5 days apart. So this is like 5 days worth of shelling and airstrikes, etc. And you can see the difference between the two. It's actually quite intense. This northern part, we are not seeing as the level of intensity. It's not as much. So right here is intense. Right here is the most intense. And here is the least intense. Up this northern part is even less intense than here. So this even so we know that recently. Let me here. I'm gonna go to one second. One second. Okay, we're back. Okay. Sorry. So yeah, right around here. We know that Russia did this attack right here, to the north a little bit, and we didn't know what was going on here at one point, but then we got confirmation that Ukraine was still right here, and this is exactly where we see the shelling, isn't it? Right here, this confirmation that we saw that Ukraine was still there is exactly where that shelling is, and up here we are seeing not as in up here we're seeing very intense, very, very intense. Here is very intense. Here is lesser, you know, and here there's nothing. What does that imply? It implies that it's likely that Russia captured this tree line. It seems likely, just based on this alone, that Russia has captured this tree line and they're trying to capture here. That's what this all seems to be pointing towards. So we knew that they had advanced to roughly here. There was a lot of heavy shelling right here for a while, and then it stopped, and now the shelling is there. So it seems that it's likely that Russia has captured this position, and now they want to capture this one. And likewise, Russia is roughly here, and they're trying to capture here, so they're shelling it, and they're trying to move up. So that appears to be the current situation. Just based on this satellite imagery, it seems pretty clear to me that it is likely that Russia controls up to around here, that they control right here, and that Ukraine controls there, and Ukraine controls here. That's the sort of takeaway we can get from the green eyeballs. So that's actually very interesting. So we can move on up north, and there's some scorch marks, etc. I don't see well, there's shelling right here. You can see shelling. It's not super heavy, but it's noticeable. So I'll map it. I think this is a good zoom level for the screenshot. So we are up to 11. This is image 11. Green eyeball 11. Okay, so I always have to stop talking when I'm typing because I don't want to type out in the coordinates. Because that's awkward when that happens. Now you can see some shelling here too. See shelling there. I'm gonna count that as the same green eyeball though. Yeah, when we see shelling here, I think that this will be another green eyeball. Right here. This is another green eyeball. We're gonna call that image 12. Yeah. Nobody knew there was going to be a live stream. I didn't even know there was going to be a live stream. It just sprung up on me. It opened itself. And I said, okay, I guess this is what we're doing. uh, so they're shelling here too. So this is all more interesting. This is all more interesting than the Botana, etc. Yeah. I'm just gonna make a green eyeball right here, right in the middle of all this shelling. I'm gonna zoom out and make my screenshot right here. So the 13 green eyeballs. Oh wow, there's a lot right here too. So this has got to be the front line, don't you think? Let's see. Let's look at the oops. There's the wrong button. Oh boy. So this is the area where that shelling was. So there's all right there. This is where all that shelling was around here, which is what we knew. We knew that, right? So if there's shelling all around here, right? And we knew that. So the map is confirmed. Nailed it. Okay, so there's also shelling right here. So So this is satellite 14, and we have to type in some coordinates. And we're going to plug those coordinates into the other map to see how we're doing. Oh, I did the wrong button again. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense, doesn't it? So we know that there's shelling all around here in this little arc, and we know there's pretty heavy shelling here. So this is all very likely Ukrainian-held territory. And it means to the east and the south is likely Russian-controlled, likely, which we kind of knew. There's likely okay. So let's see. Well, they're shelling there too. They're shelling here too, man. It's all very confusing. Yeah, they're shelling here too. So I'm gonna mark this as a green eyeball. We're gonna take a screenshot. We're up to 15, I think. But yeah, to be totally honest, I woke up at like midnight today, and my goal was to finish yesterday really quickly, and then start on today. That was my goal when I woke up at midnight. And then I realized that I couldn't finish yesterday until around 6 a.m. And I had a panic attack at that point. And I was like, man, I was hoping to, get ahead and work on, today. And I was working on yesterday today after working on yesterday for 20 hours yesterday. And I was like, doesn't feel good. So here I was, like a few minutes ago. I was thinking, um, I'm really far behind on today, and it's stressing me out. So you know what I could do? I could just stop working on today and do a stream. And then I thought in my head, sounds like a good idea. That sounds like a good idea. So then that's what we're doing. Literally what happened. Makes no sense when you say it out loud. It just sounds even more stupid. Whatever. Here we are. Okay. Here are some airstrikes. Just gonna map these airstrikes. Okay. 17. That's where we're up to. 17. What else is going on? So we're getting close to Konstantinivka, which is all very interesting because this is basically the current battle. Is Russia trying to capture this whole town here. You could see that there was some battling um, for this area. You know, uh, they Russia eventually pretty much captured this tree line after a pretty intense battle, and Ukraine had to fall back a bit. And now Ukraine is probably around here ish. We're seeing some shelling, not super much. Some shelling. I guess Ukraine probably pulled out of this whole tree line, I imagine. Because there's no shelling there, which is very suspicious. There's some shelling, but it's very minimal. And yeah. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? Just like compare and contrast. So here, massive shelling. This whole area is getting absolutely torn apart by shelling. And up here, There's like none. It's just interesting. I bet if you were asked before you looked, you would assume up here would be the heavier shelling, not down there. But this is the way it is, isn't it? So um, I know that there's been some shelling to the north of these towns. We've had video, not super intense. You can see it's super intense. Uh, we don't see tree lines being deleted or anything of that nature, but we know that Russia is shelling this whole area to the north because apparently Ukraine has artillery here. There was a video recently of this position getting hit by Russian artillery, and they claim that there is an M777 there. We do know that there was an artillery piece there, but I don't know if it was an M777. I just know that it was a artillery piece of some sort. I don't even remember if it was towed or not. I just remember a barrel. Remember a barrel sticking out of a bush. That's all I saw. Speaking of which, all these countries, they look at this war, right? Um, and they say what we need is more SPGs, which is baffling to me because in my mind, this war is proving that self-propelled guns are kind of trash. Not great. They're okay. They have a role. They have a role. But their role is more limited than I think people ever thought. Because there was this like marketing campaign, and I really think it was literally a marketing campaign to make money, that SPGs are good because they can shoot and scoot. If you are a fan, well, if you follow the military like at all, you'll know that shoot and scoot is not a thing. It's not a thing. It never was a thing. Um, and it never will be a thing because shoot and scoot is not a military term. It was a marketing term by marketers to sell self-propelled guns to people. Because you have to keep in mind that the military is selling a product, and they want to make money. It doesn't. You have to. Sometimes you have to make a market for your product. Sometimes their market doesn't exist. Sometimes uh, people don't know what they want, so you have to tell them what they want and make them want it, so they buy it. And that's what people were doing with self-propelled guns. They looked at it and they said, we can make a lot of money selling self-propelled guns. How do we make people want them? So they came up with this marketing, and the marketing did great. Marketing did great. So now everybody wants to shoot and scoot, and they look at this war and they say this is proof that shoot and scoot works. And I think this war is showing anything but. The MRLS. Well, first off, there is no MRLS loaf. MRLS is a very specific thing, and there is no MRLS loaf. It's an MRL loaf. MLRS. It's an MRL loaf. MLRS is a totally different thing. So, an MRL loaf, yes, they've been around for a while. We've been, like Iran has them. I think Hezbollah has them as well. But yeah, there are battle loaves. There's certainly battle loaves. They've been around for a few years too. You can go back in time. You can see them from a decade ago. Uh, all sorts of battle loafs, all sorts of weapons on top. Loafs with cannons, loafs with rockets. There's anti-air loaf. You know, a loaf is an all-purpose vehicle. It can do anything. You know what really the loaf that you should be the most scared of is a fuel loaf. The fuel loaf, that's a loaf. The logistics loaf. Yeah, these yeah, the MRL loaf, they've been around. Now you ask whether they're thrown together or not. I guess that's up for debate. Do you consider them thrown together? I would, but they're lovingly thrown together, okay? Yeah, there's a video, I can't remember when it came out. It did when all the stuff happening in Israel happened. I don't want to get into that. So, but anyways, when the Israel stuff happened, when it first started in October, there's a video that did rounds all over the various types of internet, whether it be Telegram or Twitter or whatever. There was a video of I don't even remember who it was. I think it was Hezbollah, but I'm not sure. But they like lined up all of their vehicles for like a propaganda video, and they had like motorcycles, they had like pickup trucks, and they had various types of loaf, and they had all sorts of loaf tillery. They had loaf tillery with mortars, loaf tillery with rockets. But anyways, that video is really, really funny. And they're all dressed as like ninjas. And they do like a little ninja dance at the end. Um, that whole video is really funny. And yeah, it did rounds in October. And I can't remember when the video actually came out because I think it was actually quite old. But it's really funny. Of just a bunch of guys dressed as ninjas driving their loaf tillery around. Why can't you shoot and scoot? Well, first off, shoot and scoot is not a military term. It's a marketing gimmick. No military uses shoot and scoot. And the reason why is because it doesn't make sense for a lot of reasons. Um, One reason it doesn't make I can't remember if I screenshot this or not, so I have to go to my screenshot folder and look because I got distracted. Um, I didn't. Okay. Basically, I'll just get to the short of it. Um, the reason shoot and scoot doesn't make sense is that the single most dangerous thing you can do on the battlefield is move. Moving is the most dangerous thing you can do. And it's dangerous because of the technology. Well, it's dangerous just because when you're in the open, you don't have cover or you don't have defenses. You're more vulnerable. Um, but it's especially bad because we don't have nowadays we have these drones that can basically see anything and track it from anywhere. So uh, you have drones that can easily spot you and track you, and they can follow you around for hours and hours and hours, and you'll never know that there's a drone stalking you until you stop and start unpacking your gear to to begin firing or even to reload. I mean, reloading is probably the most dangerous time. And once you're in one location and they see that you're not going to move for a few minutes, they can fire a missile at you. And that is, you see vehicles get taken out this way, you know? Um, so moving is like the most dangerous thing that you can do. So shooting and scooting doesn't really make sense. The way that you see a lot of one sec. The way you see a lot of SPGs being used is not in shoot and scoot. What have I done? I have done something wrong. Oh no. I've made a typo. Oh, no, I haven't made a typo. I didn't make a typo. I'm good. Anyway, sorry. I got distracted. The way that you see artillery the SPGs being used now is that they dig a hole underground, like they dig a bunker, and they put the SPG into a bunker underground, and they fire out of the bunker. And that's how they use SPGs. And it makes you wonder, is it even worth having an SPG if all you're going to do is put it in a bunker? Because yes, the SPG can move itself. Obviously, it's a self-propelled gun. It is self-propelled, which is useful, but it being self-propelled makes the gun substantially bigger, heavier, and that means that you have to make an even bigger bunker to hide your gun in. So is the trade-off worth it? I argue sometimes. Not always. That's my argument. My argument is sometimes it's worth it. And I also think usually it's not. And this is a debate that goes on in military circles, and for some reason the SPG people are much more popular than the towed gun people, and the SPG people have been winning. They've been winning their marketing, but I think it's personally, I think it's to the detriment of the military. You don't want to move. Moving is dangerous. You want to hide. Do you ever type the coordinates and realize that you didn't click the box first, so you just typed them into the ether and they disappeared? Do bunkers exist for the 2S7? If you build a big enough bunker, you just have to dig a bigger hole. Just keep digging. Oh man. I guess I'll zoom out so everybody knows where we are, because I've just been kind of moving. It's not that drones killed Shoot and Scoot. It's that Shoot and Scoot never existed. They never existed. The drones just highlight how stupid it was to begin with. But it never existed. Like there was never Shoot and Scoot. Shoot and Scoot was never a thing. It was never a thing. Maybe there's a military out there that has Shoot and Scoot. I'll tell you what. I don't know which military it is. It's not the American military doesn't have Shoot and Scoot. I can tell you that with certainty. The United States does not Shoot and Scoot. That's not a thing. I don't think the British do either. I don't think the French do. Maybe there's some weird military that shoots and scoots. Maybe the Swedish shoot and scoot. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know about the Swedish, but the Americans don't. The British don't. No major country shoots and scoots. They, you can you can make big toed guns. Also, you have to ask yourself, is bigger better? I'm not sure if bigger is better. When is the next live stream coming? I don't know. Uh, I was I was genuinely gonna do a live stream last night, but I fell asleep at 6 o'clock because I was tired and I didn't sleep for. I had been awake by over 24 hours at that point. You self-tunneling guns. Do you know in Command and Conquer, they have the subterranean tank. You could just have one of those. Why even move your self-propelled guns above ground when you can just keep them underground forever, you know? Okay, so we're gonna kind of loading slower now. As we go on, it just loads slower and slower. There's a green eyeball right here. Would be a green eyeball. Yeah. See, if you had a subterranean artillery piece, all you would have to do is just like you'd move around underground, then you could dig a hole to the outside world, right? And just stick the barrel through and fire and go back underground and run away or dig away. But this is uh this is the sort of technology you get when you put me in charge of acquisition. You get mole people guns. Oh, this is another green eyeball for sure. The music we create, is it available somewhere? The answer is yes. It is technically available, although it's under a totally anonymous account. You'll probably never find it. We could upload it to YouTube. Maybe we will at some point. Um, I have no idea who Willie is. I have no opinion on anyone named Willie. Honestly, I can say this absolutely. I do not know one single person in any point in my life named Willie. I've never known or met anyone named Willie. So, except for Free Willy, but that was a whale in the movie. That's the only Willie I've ever known. Do you think this is shelling or just nature? I'm gonna say it's just nature. All right. Oof. Load. Okay. Uh, this is where some big battles are taking place right here. Yeah, you can see the battles taking place. This area right here is this is a you could call it contested. I'm not really sure if contested is the right word. Um, Here, I'll show you on my map. Some people say this is contested. I have it mapped currently as Ukrainian controlled, but it's definitely on the cusp. This is like the front. This is the front right here. This is like where the fighting is. So it makes sense to see this much shelling, etc., etc. So what about the area just north of it? This is of interest to me. There's a lot of shelling here too. A lot of shelling here too. So let's make another green eyeball. And make another screenshot. Oy, I spelled it wrong. Embarrassing. It's embarrassing when you spell the word sat wrong. Sometimes you do. Sometimes you do. So, oh, I've made a mistake. Oh, I've made mistakes. Mistakes have been made. I've done something horribly wrong. I have to fix my mistake. Okay, let's what have I done? uh yeah. Okay. So here's one mistake I made. What's this other mistake that I made? I want to know exactly which mistakes I've been making. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I see my mistake. I see it now. Well, I don't actually. I don't. I've made it even still. Yet another mistake. Sorry. It was okay. Okay. So I made one fewer mistake than I thought I did. Okay. That's good. Sorry. If I didn't fix this now, it would have spiraled out of control and ruined my day. So I had to do repairs. Okay. All better. We did it. Oh yeah. Yeah. I do occasionally exist. Well, to be fair, I have been working around the clock producing nonstop content for the past few weeks. To be fair. It's not like I disappeared. It's not like I stopped making things. I just didn't make a YouTube video for a while because I was busy with my other stuff that takes up my entire life. This is a light, very light shelling, but notable because it's visible. If anything visible, it means something's going on. Because this resolution Every pixel is 10 meters. just just keep that in mind. Every single pixel of the screen is 10 meters. So, man, there's a lot going on here. Okay, so we're going to make a green eyeball here. The density and distribution of the green eyeballs is going to be interesting. Then there's another green eyeball right there. So you see pretty heavy shelling. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna try to make more videos. Um, I'm lining up an interview that I think you guys will find interesting. Um, Maybe I can do more interviews in the future. Interviews, I don't know, maybe I think maybe interviews are kind of a better type of content to make. Um, they might get shared more. Uh, yeah. So I don't know. I guess it depends on the person interviewing. In the past, we've interviewed Ukrainians, and people don't really like listening to interviews of Ukrainians. I've learned, um, and I think it's partly because of a language barrier. Although those all those interviews, the videos were translated into English in the video, so because Constantine was working as the translator. The interview that I am lining up, the guy speaks English, so he does not require a translator. And he lives in Ukraine. I guess you could call him Ukrainian. I don't know. You'll see what I mean on that on that point. He's technically not Ukrainian, but he's Ukrainian enough. Yeah. So, anyways, these are lots of lots of things going on over here. So, all right. So let's move on. Let's move. Oh, well, this whole area here. This whole area is a total mess. There's so many Russians just exploding. Like if you were to draw a circle like right here, you would be drawing a circle around exploding Russians. If you know what I mean. Okay, let's see. Oh, there's definitely this area right here. Area right here is some pretty heavy stuff going on. Though it seems older, doesn't it? It seems like whatever is there stopped. I kind of don't want to make a green eyeball there because I think it'd be oh, there's like airstrikes going on here. Like, interesting. And you can see, like, as we go through, you can see some Ukrainian defenses every once in a while. It's kind of disappointing how few we've seen, to be honest. But you do see them. This is it's starting to load very slowly to alert the community. Thank you, Cheryl. You must alert them. Alert them all to find the green eyeballs. Uh, load, load faster. I feel like, don't you think that like these airstrikes that like landed in the middle of this random field, I feel like they were intended on this trench. Don't you think like or do you think they bombed like the exact like middle of this field intentionally? These are big bombs. These are really big bombs, and they're just whatever. Load, load, load. I'm not done yet. It just doesn't want to. It's like okay, you're done. Yeah, these are fabs. These are fabs. All of these are fabs. That's a fab. 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 This is probably MRL. That's probably a fab. That's a fab. These are all fabs. Yeah. When they say that, Russia is dealing tremendous damage with fabs, just keep in mind that while some fabs hit, some of them just land in empty fields. They're not cleaning mines. They're not wiping out mines. They're just bad at aiming. They're inaccurate. These are all fabs too. These are they're just man, this is like not even loading anymore. uh, Frustrating. Okay. Okay. It wants us to go this way. It's like look over here. Okay. All right. Well, it's not really loading anymore. It's done. It's tired. It wants a nap. I relate. All right. Well, I think we've hit a wall here. So I'm gonna just map the green eyeballs that we got and call it a day, I guess. It's not loading anymore. All right. So how long was this? And over an hour. Holy, over an hour. I think that's enough anyway. Need to go back to reading Telegram. I wonder how many messages I have. Let's see. Let's see how many messages I have in Telegram. Let's take a peek. I have 1,886. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, I my losses lists over the past few days have been coming out pretty late because it's been really hard to keep up. Like, oh, it loaded. Look at this. It's been really hard to keep up recently. There's just been a lot of it's just constant, endless work, like an infinite amount of work. Yeah, I think I'm gonna call this a day though. I'm gonna stop the stream and I'll come back and I'll maybe make another one sometime. Maybe we'll pick this up where I left off at some point in the future and map the rest of the green eyeballs. All right. So thank you for coming, everybody. I hope you enjoyed looking for green eyeballs. I hope you learned something because I learned stuff from the green eyeballs. And we'll see you later. Goodbye.